behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Palm Mash TV. Palm Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Paul Mash TV time again. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode. We got a great interview coming up for you shortly. But don't forget about that subscribe button and the bell if you haven't already. Click both of those and you'll always be notified of any new episodes coming your way. And we love to hear from you in the comments section. So if you'd like to leave a comment, go ahead and do that. And go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Paul Mash TV. And you can follow us there and comment the things you see, even send us an inbox. And we'd love to hear from you there. And we'd also love to hear from you in email. It's paulmashtv, all one word, @gmail.com. And if you're a band or a solo artist and want to be on the show, you can use that, and we'll tell you how to do that. And also, if you're just simply a fan, you can use that, and we'll comment back as quickly as we can. And all that's going to be recapped for you at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. From Vale, North Carolina, we have Jennifer Alvarado today. A very talented artist, but all artists are talented. And I think you're definitely going to agree with that. And we're going to get to that interview in just a second as it starts right now. Hello, everybody. It's interview time again, as promised. And with us from Vale, North Carolina, we have Jennifer Alvarado today. Thanks for joining us, Jennifer.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. I'm glad to have you here today. Well, tell us about how it all began for you, because as you know, all artists get their start in different ways. Let's hear your story.
Yeah. So I've sort of listened to music all my life, been interested in it all my life. I started writing and just making up little songs when I was around 4. And then my papa played several instruments, taught me how to kind of play a few chords on guitar. And I fell in love with just music in general. But I really got started in church. That was where I started with choir and singing and learning just sort of how to praise and worship and all of that. And then, it led to choir at school and voice lessons and all of that, and started leading worship when I was a teenager. And had a couple ensembles that I was responsible for. And it kind of led from that. My first album was actually Contemporary Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Then during 2020, of course, everything kind of changed, and I was on furlough for a while from work, and I was like, okay, well, I have all these other like country pop songs on the back burner that are just like gathering dust in a closet somewhere. Let's see what happens with them. And so I started putting those out, and they kind of started gaining speed, and just sort of have tried to figure out how to like market myself and how to, push that, because I never really pushed the contemporary Christian stuff. I always wanted to keep sort of worship separate from anything I was doing. Like I wanted worship to be focused on worship. And I think over the years, like I've sort of figured out how to blend it and also just embrace both types of music. But I was very scared in the beginning of, I never want to draw attention to myself when I'm in the middle of leading worship or anything, because it's not about us. And so that was just one thing that I tried to be very cognizant of. I never wanted to really promote something I had written or anything like that. And so I had a lot of I don't want to say guilt, but just sort of I was very scared to kind of put that out there and show that side of it. So I think as you grow, you kind of figure out how to do that and navigate that.
Well, you do a good job of what you're doing, and of course everybody will get a chance to see that in just a couple minutes here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the artists you grew up with that helped influence you to be the artist you are today?
Yeah, so 90s music in general, grunge, 90s country, like those things. I feel like the 90s, we were very good about telling stories and really building a storyline around, a song and in a song to where it was very visual too. And so that really has had an effect on me. Reba McEntire probably is my number one everything. And I've looked up to her since I was probably 8 years old. I think she's just a phenomenal entertainer and businesswoman, but also vocalists like Martina McBride, Celine Dion, big voices. I always navigated toward that or gravitated toward that. And then also just people like Tom Petty, the Eagles, that classic rock kind of sound. I love that as well. And I think that all of that has played a part in my sound.
Yeah, and those are legends, obviously, especially Reba. She's been around since like what, the 70s or 80s or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And like you mentioned, the Eagles, and then of course Tom Petty, all those, they're all great bands. Um, well, if anybody is watching this right now, they may want to say, I want to download your music or follow you on all the social media sites. Tell everybody how they can do that.
Yeah, so first and foremost, probably go to my website, jenniferalvarado.com. On there, I have links to everything, but I'm on all of the digital streaming platforms. I also have physical copies available through my website. There's a couple other places you can look, but probably my website's the best place. But Spotify, Apple Music, all that, just look up Jennifer Alvarado. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram, that's Jennifer Alvarado Music. TikTok, Jennifer Alvarado Music. And Facebook is, you can look up Jennifer Alvarado Music or Jim Music 12.
Okay, well, get out there today and download her music and follow her on all social media sites as she mentioned. I know she would fall in love with you for that. And in just a moment, we're going to watch that video. Filthy Water is the title of it. I'm sure it's self-explanatory, but tell me a little story about that song.
Yeah, so I went through a period a couple years ago where I just had a lot of church hurt, and there was a lot of when you grow up in the church, and I had kind of decided like that's what I was doing, and then God had other plans. And so I kind of went kicking and screaming in other directions. But with that said, when you have church hurt, I had to kind of navigate through that and realize that people are still people. And with that, also realize that the phrase, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, always kept coming back to me, of don't throw the good out too. And I feel like sometimes in life, you look at situations and know you need to throw all of it out. Like you need to take the lessons that you learned, yes, but you also need to move forward from it. And that's really what that song is to me. It's about, eventually truth does come out. And when it does, like it's all about how you pick yourself back up from it and walk forward. And so really that's what that song is. It's just about getting out of a bad situation and still, walking forward and moving forward with what you're doing.
Okay, well, like I said, it is a great song, and we're going to be playing that in just a moment or two. But before we begin that, I think we're about out of time, but thank you so much, Jennifer, for coming on the show. Come back sometime. We'd love to plug something new for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, and here it is, Filthy Water by Jennifer Alvarado, and it starts right now.
Time you talk to me, light a match and watch it burn. Soon the table's gonna turn.